Have you ever been so exhausted in the morning that even blinking feels like a chore? And then someone tries to cut in front of you like they own the world? Yeah. Well, imagine this. You're standing in line, waiting for that one cup of coffee that keeps you functional, and suddenly this smug, self important stranger slides right past everyone, pretending he just needs to ask a quick question. And he does it every single morning until the day I snapped. Quietly, politely, and with the kind of revenge that made him rethink his entire morning routine. If you've ever dealt with someone who thought the rules didn't apply to them, smash that like button. Subscribe for more deeply satisfying revenge stories and get ready because this one isn't loud or violent. It's precise, it's petty, and it works so beautifully. All right, so let me rewind this story a bit. The setup. There's this little coffee shop I go to every morning. Not a big chain, not a flashy boutique. Just a cozy, warm corner spot that smells like roasted beans and cinnamon. The kind of place where you'll see the same sleepy faces every day. People wrapped in scarves, holding laptops, rubbing their eyes. Basically, a community of half awake zombies waiting for caffeine to hit their bloodstream. And the line? Always the same 5 to 6 people max. It moves slowly but predictably. There's almost a comfort in the routine, at least until he showed up. I first noticed him on a Monday because, of course, this kind of nonsense happens on Mondays. He walked in with this air of manufactured urgency, like he was on the verge of a life changing business deal, even though he was wearing gym shorts and flip flops in November. He glanced at the line, paused, tilted his head like he was deeply pondering the meaning of existence, and then suddenly gasped. Oh, I just need to ask the barista something real quick. Then he marched straight to the counter. I remember watching this unfold with that foggy morning confusion where your brain is awake enough to know something wrong is happening, but not awake enough to do anything about it. The barista, a sweet girl named Jenna, gave him this polite, overworked smile. He leaned forward. What size is your medium again? That was his question, not a real question, just an excuse. Before anyone could react, he added, well, since I'm already here, I'll just get a medium latte. And boom, he'd cut the whole line. The pattern. At first, I shrugged it off. People do annoying things, whatever. But the next day, he did it again. Different fake question this time. What syrups do you guys have? Asked in the most bored, I don't actually care tone I've ever heard. Then came day 3 and day 4. Same routine, same fake question, same, oh well, I guess I'll order since I'm up here. He'd smile to himself every time, too, like he'd cracked some genius code and the rest of us were idiots for waiting. And the worst part? Nobody said anything because it's early. People are tired. Confrontation before caffeine is like trying to solve algebra while sleepwalking. But every time he did it, I felt this tiny spark of irritation burn just a little hotter. That quiet, simmering frustration we all know, the one that whispers, why does this guy think he's special? Why does he think he's above everyone else? It wasn't about the coffee, it was about the disrespect, the breaking point. The moment I knew I had to do something came on a Thursday. He walked in, did his fake gasp, and started his stroll toward the counter. But this time he actually looked back at the line first, like he wanted to see our reactions, like he was proud of himself. That smug little glance lit the fuse. Remember clenching my jaw so tight my teeth hurt. My palms warmed. My heartbeat picked up. It wasn't rage, it was resolve. And in that moment, I decided, if you're going to act like a child, I'm going to treat you like one. The plan. If this guy wanted to pretend he just had a question, then fine. I'd play the same game, but I'd play it better. So the next day, I went in a couple minutes earlier, got my usual spot, and waited. And right on cue, the line cutter entered. Like a badly behaved movie character whose only personality trait is entitlement. He saw the line. He did the head tilt. He opened his mouth. I moved. The execution. I stepped out of line with the speed and determination of someone who finally snapped after weeks of quiet suffering. I slipped right past him, just a half second faster, and landed at the counter before he even reached the halfway mark. He blinked at me, surprised. I greeted the barista cheerfully. Hi, sorry, I just had a quick question. His jaw tightened. Beautiful. I leaned on the counter. Can you remind me, what's the difference between a latte and a cappuccino again? The barista started explaining. I nodded like I was learning the secrets of the universe. The line cutter shifted from foot to foot. Then I said, wait, do you guys have oat milk? Almond, soy, coconut? Which one froths better? Like, texturally? He exhaled loudly, annoyed. Perfect. But I wasn't done. Also, I continued, can you walk me through all your pastries? Just so I know what pairs best. I dragged it on just long enough to make him visibly impatient. Face twitching, fingers tapping, eyes narrowing. And when he finally tried to speak, I straightened up. Oh, actually, you know what? I'll get back in line and think about it. Thanks. Then I walked back to my original spot. He was left at the counter with no excuse to order, no fake question to ask, and no graceful way to retreat. He froze, then awkwardly stepped back, into the very back of the line. I didn't even look at him, but I felt his embarrassment radiating like heat from a toaster. Day 2 of revenge. The next morning, he tried again. But I was ready. The moment he took that first step out of the line zone, I darted to the counter like an Olympic sprinter. Hi, I have another question, about beans this time. 5 minutes of unnecessary bean talk. Back to my spot. He returned to the back of the line, defeated. Day 3. He hesitated when he walked in. He looked at me. I looked at him. He sighed and quietly went to the back of the line. But I wasn't done. Not yet. Because karma tastes best when served repeatedly. This time, he didn't even try to play his usual game. He walked in, hands in pockets, shoulders slumped a little. He joined the end of the line without a word. I swear I heard angels sing. He never tried to cut again. Not once. And every morning after, he waited like the rest of us, silently, obediently, defeated by the gentlest revenge known to mankind. Looking back, the moment that truly sealed the victory wasn't when he first stepped back into the line. It was the expression he wore when he realized he'd been outplayed in his own game. That little flicker of panic when he didn't know how to pivot. That awkward shuffle backward. That subtle, embarrassed cough as he rejoined the line like a kid returning to his seat after being caught cheating on a test. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't explosive. It was quiet, humiliating, and entirely self-inflicted. And the best part? I never said a single rude word. I never confronted him. I never raised my voice. He lost because he relied on people being too polite to stop him. And I simply stopped being polite. Sometimes revenge doesn't need to be loud or vicious. Sometimes it's just giving someone a taste of their own medicine until they finally realize they're not as clever as they think they are. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it stands quietly at the counter, asking about milk alternatives. If this story made you smile, or if it reminded you of someone who desperately deserves a lesson in basic manners, hit that like button. Tell me in the comments, what's the pettiest yet most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? And of course, subscribe for more stories where karma comes with a side of coffee.